Yeah, you're able to see my screen, right? Hello.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Nirav.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
You can.
Okay. So last time we have covered the introduction about OCR and how what and all things we used to do in OCR, and what is the device flow which we used to follow, and what are the plugins we used to follow, and what are the tools and techniques which we use, and something on the GIMP and all those things we have tried it. So today's session I'll be covering an example for static template. I mean, last time also I have discussed that we have to cover static template and dynamic template. So for each document we have to find that whether it's a static or a dynamic one. So today I'll be covering a static template of trade license, dynamic template of trade license, and one ID card example. I'll cover the Emirates ID. As part of device side, how do we do it, and as part of website, what do we do it? And then today I'll be deep diving into the image pre-processing configurations. So what are the configurations involved in pre-processing steps, and then what and all configurations involved in data extractor, and what and all configurations involved in the data type extraction. Then last time I got a couple of queries that where do we actually kept our masking files, and where do we I mean, in which place we'll be keeping our templates, in which place we'll be keeping masks and all those things. So for that I'll be explaining the settings.ini file, so which where all the database configurations, everything will be a part of the settings file. Then I'll be briefly explaining about the Python service, how to start and all those things. I think I've already shared the document. Maybe that is sufficient to start the Python service and all. So then Adrian will be explaining on how to create a template and how to create a mask using GIMP tool. So today this is our agenda. So then I'll start with the static template. So we have identified a static template. So basically so this is a DSOA trade license template. So here our requirement is to extract a licensee, trade name, authorized manager, address, and all those things. So as I explained previously, so for each trade license template or each trade license, we have to create a template out of it. So
Nikhil, just one request.
yeah,
If you can record this session.
yeah, I'm recording it.
Nikhil, if you can just.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
recording it.
okay.
Today I got the YouTube credentials as well. I'll be uploading in the YouTube of our companies
Okay, Nikhil, thanks.
as a private thing. Yeah.
That's great.
Uh, so this is the original document. So in case of creating a template, as I told in my early sessions, previous sessions and all, so we have to remove the unwanted data which is dynamic on top of the document. So in case of this stampings and all, and this date and all those things, so we'll try to remove these stamps, dates, and any signatures are there, we'll try to remove it. So because the stamp might be there here as well, it can be in the down part as well. So we don't want this unwanted text which interrupt us in extracting the data. So we the first part is to identify whether the document is little tilted or not. And if we see here, we have the background boundary and all those things. So we have removed all the background boundary, and if we see here, see the trade license is little slightly tilted towards the left side. We have to adjust the text into a perfect position and all. So for that we will be using GIMP tool, and we'll create a template. So template creation and all we'll cover in the later part. So this is how we have to create the template. So once the template is ready, yeah, yeah, once the template is ready, we have to create this mask. So this mask would be the dynamic mask for DSOA. So if we observe this template in this mask, so the incoming image can be having lot of text on top of it. So what we try to do is the initial step we try to match the uh, image with the template, and then we'll try to mask it. So in the masking case, we are masking the values here. As this is a static template, so static template will be defining if we have a lot of space between, in case of address we can add one more line here, and even here also we can add one more line. So if there is a particular space and spacing is available, and we can, even though text comes in two lines, the template won't be adjusting or something like that, then we'll go for a static template. But in case of dynamic, all the lines, when this trade name gets into a two lines, then this authorized manager will be shifted down. So basically the coordinates will be shifted down. In that case, if we go for static template, we will try to extract the data which is there as part of this block. So in case of here, in case of license number 604, yeah, this is a 604 number. So we try to extract the value using this mask. So in this case, we are mapping this value with this mask coordinates. So that's how we are extracting the value. Suppose this license number shifted, license number comes in place of license. Suppose if it shift to the left side, then we have to cover the entire region completely. So that's how we need to identify for which document, which type of technique we have to use. Either we go for a static template or a dynamic template. So once we do the masking part, so we'll get a pre-processed image like this. Only with the values. So then once we get the values, we have Tesseract, as I told in my earlier sessions. So we are using Tesseract as a data extractor engine. So we use Tesseract to map the coordinates of that each particular value. So in case of that, if we see, yeah, 604, that's the license number that has been mapped to the coordinates of 741, 353 and all. So basically this and all you don't need to configure anywhere. So you will be getting only the coordinates of that block. So for that we'll be giving a tool. It will automatically generate coordinates for you based on the mask. So internally coordinates mapping will happen using Tesseract, and based on the coordinates we'll try to extract it. So this is how static template works on an overview. So I'll show you the dynamic so that you will be much more clear why do we go for dynamic and all. So this is one set of document. So in this case text is straight and it has been aligned properly. When we go for this one, so text got tilted and company name has been defined in two lines. So in that case, if we see the previous document and this document, shape has been different and text has been moved down. So in this case we have to go for dynamic approach. So in case of dynamic approach, we have to cover the entire part, entire region of the our region of interest in the document. So when we cover this entire region of interest, so basically we'll cover this part of values till the expiry date. So when we'll cover this part of values, we'll be getting a license number, company name and all those things. So I'll show you the pre-processed image. So this is how our pre-processed image will be there as a key value pair base. So basically here we are trying to remove the unwanted data on top of the document. So this entire technology which we use behind, which comes under image pre-processing techniques, the masking and template matching techniques and all. So this is how pre-processed image will be there. So when we run that pre-processed image using Tesseract, so in the case of dynamic, in the case of static template, we need coordinates for extracting the particular value, because there won't be any keys out of it. So we are just mapping the values out of it. but here we will be getting keys and values. So here we have to go for a string approach than the coordinate approach. So once we get this string, how do we extract license number as CL of 1462, and how do we extract company name, and how do we extract trade name? So these are the questions which we will be getting. So once we get the string dump, but how do we know which one has to be mapped here? And in case of address, there are 5 lines and 6 lines. How do we map all 5 lines to a single address? So for this, we have built-in data types that I'll be covering it. So this is the static one and this is the dynamic one, and I'll show you regarding Emirates as well. So I have taken Bhaskar's card as well. So this is the original card which I have used for predicting the values. So this is the card which got tilted to a left side and all. So and this is the template I have used. So template will be always straight, and more the features, more the template matching will happen. So we have kept as it is, and all the text will be straightened in the template. So this is the template I have used. And masking, when we see, so this is the masking which I have used. For this Emirates ID, for the web part we use this kind of approach, but in case of device part we don't need all those things. It's just the text which comes from the device side, from the document plugin. So this is the pre-processed image which will be getting out of it after applying the masking and all those things. So once we get this, again image to string will get. So this is the values which we get. Out of these values, how do we map name as Bhaskar here, and how do we remove this extra line which came in front of nationality, and how do we map India? There is an extra character which is coming because of some lines, or maybe because of Arabic text present on top of it. So how do we map these values? So for these and all we use data type extractions. So this is for the front card. Similarly, I'll show for the back card. So back card, again this is the original image which I have used, and this is the mask, and this is the template. So the final output which I got is this one. So using this ISO code, how do we extract values out of it? So what are the configuration we need to pass to this? So today I'll be covering this entire topic of configurations. So what sort of configurations I have to define for particular values and all. But when we see in case of device mainly, so we'll be having a text. We'll be putting this in text pad. So from at last, in case of Emirates ID as well, in case of web, we are doing pre-processing step and data extraction step to extract the string out of it. So in case of mobile, when we try to auto capture, if we use document detect plugin, it automatically gives the string to us. If there is no web involved, we don't need to create. Basically web and device is nothing but whenever we try to upload image to the server side, that time we'll be doing image pre-processing and all those things. Whenever we just pass the text to the server side, in that case it will be text parsing will happen inside the device layer. So this is the text we'll be getting, and how do we extract this text again? So that's the again one more question. So I'll walk you through the configurations what I have defined for static template and dynamic template. So DIFC is a dynamic template. So device type will be so basically this is our column structures in the database. For each document we have document type and document ID, which will be mapped to the device type. In case of Android, we don't have image configurations and data extractor configuration, so those will be empty. So how do we map this? Yeah. So in case of image configuration, so we have two nodes. So one will be text extraction, one will be the object extraction. Object extraction will be called only when we try to extract face or maybe a signature. Currently signature is not available, or maybe some other objects out of the image, out of the document. So currently we are extracting only the text. So we have a primary node called text extraction. So in that we'll be having a list of configurations for each text extraction. So in this we have, so every configuration has an ID. So this ID is the primary ID which will be used across the all configuration. So whenever we map an ID to image configuration, the same ID we have to use in data type configuration as well, and data extractor configuration as well. And we have something called technique sequence. I mean, what and all pre-processing techniques we have to use. For that we have maintained a sequence. So the initial step in case of DIFC, the dynamic document, I have used text dskew. So basically, if we see in the document, text will be slightly tilted towards left side. So whatever technique name which I am explaining now, so this will be creating the text into a proper form, into a normal form. So it's like slanted text will be converted into a straight text. So that's how this pre-processing technique will work in the background. So that we are enabling it. So then after that we are applying template matching, and we are giving the template name. So so I'll come to this part where from where we'll be picking the template directory and all. So currently template name will be configured in the database. So template matching is the technique, and in the parameters we have to configure template name. Then we have used a method called eShadow. So this will be basically in our background we have some colored and all those things, and some other extra unwanted text will be there. So that will be cleared using eShadow. So in case of this eShadow, we can use, there are a couple of techniques called ease technique will be there, and eShadow and shadow removal technique will be there. So based on the document we can explore these techniques and we can try it out. So it may vary from document to document. Some documents require eShadow, some documents require shadow removal. So that will be concluded based on the testing part. Currently I have used eShadow for this document, and then again I have to pass the mask template name. So here again we have to give the name of mask template, and then template masking we are doing, and we are giving the template mask name again once again here. So these are the set of configuration which we use in case of image configuration. And then we are using PDF params. So this is the DPI value. By default it will be 200. I have used 230 for better clarity and all. Again, if we increase to 500 or 1000, text will get distorted on top of the image. So better we can use the default value as 200, or maximum we can tweak it to 200 to 250. That's the maximum tweak of that value we can do it. So I have already shared one document to you. So that has already what configurations we'll be using. So maybe you can refer the document how to configure the image processing. Yeah, I have given with images and all. So how template matching works, and what is the input of the image and what is the output of that after template match, and then what is the configuration I have to define for template match, and what are the image pre-processing techniques. So as I have told you that there is a shadow removal technique which we need to use, and if we use shadow removal, what is the configuration which we need to use, and in case of each shadow, what is the configuration which we need to use. And then document masking, you can go through this document, what is these lines and all, you will be it's pretty clear and you can understand. It's in normal format. So in case of third configuration, what type of configuration which we need to use in case of this. So this is how image processing configuration will be there as part of image processing. So now after applying this image pre-processing configuration, I have shown you that cleared image with just the key value pair values used to come on top of the image. So after that, how do we extract the string data out of it? Also, what sort of configuration we use for that? So for that we have data extractor technique. So in that case we are using text extraction engine as Tesseract. Currently we are supported only Tesseract. So I have told you previously as well. So whatever ID we map it here, what is the ID value? The same ID value we have to give for each and every configuration. So here as well we have the same ID value, because based on the ID value we try to analyze the image and we try to process it. So this is the most important thing. So this ID will be used by the service layer and this ID will be used by the Tesseract layer. So both IDs are the same, and here we are using Tesseract engine, a type of engine, extractor type. And then what are the extraction methods? So here we are supporting, in case of Tesseract there will be two extraction methods, image to string and image to data. So in case of image to string, output will be returned from the Tesseract is the string dump, but in case of image to data we'll get the coordinates dump. So coordinate dump we'll be using for the static template, but in case of dynamic one we can get just the string values. Or if it's a simple document like Emirates ID or something like that, we can use even image to string as well to extract the text. And in case of this we need to specify language. So here as I am clearing entire Arabic language, so I can use directly English. Suppose if there is an Arabic language as well, we can use language code as ENG plus ARA. ARA is the language code of Arabic. So in the documentation as well I have shared that link regarding Tesseract. Yeah, data extraction configuration, ENG plus ARA, I have shared it here. So kindly go through this languages which are supported in the Tesseract. So this link will be showing you what and all language supports in the Tesseract and how do we give it. And the upper link will be telling you what this library will expect, what are the keys. So basically we'll be defining PSM values and all those things. PSM values are nothing but the page segmentation mode and all those things. So that those values and all you'll be getting those values and definition of those values from this link. So anyway, I have written about some PSM values over here as well. So what and all PSM values will be there and what type of value we have to use. Basically when we try to build any document or when we try to extract the document, we have to check with all PSM values. So which one gives the better result? Either PSM3 is the default one which I am using now. Either PSM3 will give the best values or PSM6 will give the best values. So that depends and that varies from document to document. So those kind of analysis we have to give it. We have to try those kind of analysis and we have to set the configurations. So those part and all we have to actually check from what kind of image we got and what kind of document we have to do it. So that's all. The language we have to specify. So in case if our primary language is Arabic, so when we try to extract Arabic, currently we don't know Arabic and all. If someone knows Arabic, their primary language can be Arabic and the secondary language can be English. So this possibility, if suppose only Arabic we are extracting, we can give Arabic, but I am not sure on the accuracy part how the Tesseract will work, because it's an open engine which we are trying to use. What and all configuration it has, it tries to pick the maximum. So even for Arabic extraction, it can extract only few values, not for the entire Arabic text and all. So that's how this data extractor configuration can be defined. So now the final one would be this data type configuration. So how do we, after getting the string dump, how do we extract ID, license number, all those things? So this is the main part. So in this case you can have multi data type extraction as true. So when we try to extract from multiple data types, so in that case this will be true. So we'll come to the multi data type extraction later so that you will understand it. So currently if you see, I'll parallelly put this text as well. So in case of dynamic, yeah, so license number I am trying to extract. Okay, ID will be the license number. this ID would be defined that what and all this ID will be mapped as a with the values, and it will be sent as a response JSON. I'll show you one example. Yeah. So when we see the extracted entities, license number will be extracted as list of value. So where do we mapping this license number tag and all? So these kind of tags will be mapped in the configuration itself. So this is the license number which I have mapped. For the license number, I am using search query extension. So search query extension is nothing but when we have a value and when we try to extract a value using the query object, which is present in between company and license number. So here my search query extension would work like this. So whatever data which is there, including this, so this would be my value which will be extracted. So we'll get spaces, we'll get even question mark or comma, whatever might be there, even special characters will be included when we give this. So this is how we extract the value out of it, and we'll be checking it whether it's an alphanumeric value or a numeric value. We can define the data format of that value, and then in case of search query extension, so as if we see this license name looks like an ID, so this is an ID kind of thing. So what we try to do is we'll get a value in between license number and the company name, and we'll define a data type to this value. So that's how search query extension would work. So search query in case of search query extension, we'll get the query value, and that query value will have an ID data type. In that ID data type, we define a pattern format for it. So in case of CL for 1462, we have defined pattern format as this. So if we have something like 146, we need to define pattern format like this. Suppose we have B, so in that case we define pattern format like this. So this is an extra validation step which we are trying to do it. So when we do this validation step, we'll get the perfect value and all. So based on that, and even we have for ID, there is something else called length. We can check for length validation as well. So whether the extracted data is length of the data is 6 or not. So all this listed values and what and all we support as part of all these values, what and all we support for ID, date and all those things. So I have defined a table here. So you can go through this table, and if you have any doubt you can ask me as well. But I'll explain now what and all extraction of search query, how do we do and all those things. So ID node and description of ID and data type, so this will be the unique value. This value won't be changed, and in case of search query extension you will be using search query extension keyword. In case of ID you will be using APZ underscore ID. So that will be the unique value which we are expecting in the service layer, and there are multiple things, multiple nodes which we will be using. So you can go through one by one. For each case we will be using each node. It depends on the case how do we extract the value. So I'll show you one. Here I have the configurations as well. Yeah. So when we try to there is one more example here. Yeah, licensee is there. We need to extract licensee from the from this text. So we have operating as the second keyword. So when in that case we will be using search query, and just we use licensee and query and the operating, and it will be data format will be alphabets. And if there are any special characters, you are assuming that there will be always hyphen present inside the text. So our license name will be like vision hyphen, I mean fz hyphen llc is there. So how do we extract this hyphen? So those hyphens and all we have to give as a validation characters here. Space will be a validation character, otherwise space won't be extracted. So those kind of validation characters and all those things you have to define it in the validation part of each data type. So that's how this dynamic part works. I'll show you this date entire configuration, and I'll show you. So this is the configuration I have given for the license number, and in case of company name I have given this alphabet as configuration and I am extracting it. In case of trade name I have given this search query. One more thing, there is something called text data format. So if there is a free formatted text and you don't know what kind of special character might be occurring in that part of text, in that case you can have it as text, so that we'll extract whatever we'll be extracting as part of that query object, we'll be picking it up and we'll be sending it back. So text will be a free formatted value. Basically we can extract the free formatted value. And then in case of legal status, we'll be having legal status and address, and then alphabetic and all. Yeah, one more thing. Yes. So this, in case of address, there is a multi-line which we need to extract. In that case, there is a parameter called sLine. So if we give this sLine as true, it will extract the value in multi-lines. That's how we extract the address part. So we'll take from the address to the activities. Yes, from the address to the activities. So we have multi-line. So that is the key which we need when we try to extract multiple lines. So sLine, if you are passing it as true, by default it will be false. If you are passing it as true, we'll extract everything into a multiple line and we'll give to you. So that's how. And in case of activities, no, we need list of values back, because there are activities will be like it's a list of values, it's not a single thing. In case of address it will be a single part, but in case of activities it will be a list of values which we are expecting it back. So in that case sLine will be true. Again that will be extracted as a multiple list of values and will be giving it back. In case of authorized signature as well, if there are multiple authorized persons, we will be extracting based on that configurations. And in case of date, we have when we try to extract, so basically in case of date, if we see in that particular text, we have expiry date and issue date. So the logic which I have used is, I'll try to query date between issue date and expiry date, and then I'll be querying this value, and this value will be, I'll be extracting based on the date data type for the validation purpose. Similarly I'll be doing it for expiry date as well. Yeah, here issue date is there, so issue date and expiry I'll be giving it. So whatever data which is there in between these two keywords, I'll be taking it, and validation character I am specifying it. If there is a slash, if it's there, I am specifying it. And then in case of extension part, I am using date data type to validate it. So we have predefined formats, DDMM YYY format is there, and DDMMMM format is there. So basically it's like entire March word or entire September word can be extracted, or 3 words of September like SCP or AUG. So those values can be extracted, and even numbers can also be extracted. So we have predefined format which I have specified in the documentation as well. So this is how we extract the entire values out of the dynamic document when we get the text out of it. Yeah, when we get the text out of it. So those are the parameters. Mainly we can use a date data type, search query data type. Search query extension is nothing but it's a combination of search query and some other data types. That's nothing but the search query extension. So mainly we have focused on this id data type, date data type and search query data type. So these are the primary three data types which we'll be using to extract the values. And there is one more extra data type which I have used in case of Emirates ID. In case of Emirates ID backside, I have used one data type. So that's nothing but the MRZ data type. So MRZ is nothing but the machine readable zone. So when we, it's nothing but the ISO code which is present. So when we yeah, when we see this document, we are just preserving the ISO code out of it. But how do we extract ISO from the ISO code all the values and all? So we have a logic to extract it. Basically, this MRZ data type comes under TD1 format. All the ID cards which will fall into the category of TD1. So where we will be extracting all values for you out of this image. So that's how we will be extracting it. I will show you the configuration for that. So it's a simple configuration. Inside config, you will be passing D type, APZ, MRZ will be there, and MRZ type. Whether it's TD1, TD2, TD3. Currently we support TD1, TD2, TD3. TD2 we will be using for official documents and all. And TD1 is the ID cards and TD3 is the passports. We can extract the we'll extract the values from the ISO code and we'll give back to you. So these are the configurations which I have used as part of data type extraction. Now when we go for static data type, what sort of configuration I have to define, because there is no keys out of this document at all. There are only just values out of it, where we have just the license number is there and some other operating name or something is there. Even I don't know what key defines that value. So in that case, how do we extract the values out of it, whether it in case of static document? So in that case, yeah. Yes. So we have a data type called APZ static template. So whenever the static template data type is there, so you have to use this static data type to extract the values. So D type config will have again the list of values and ID will be mapped here. So in case of this ID, you have to specify the ID which you have specified in the previous image pre-processing steps and data extractor pre-processing step. But in case of dynamic template, you don't need to pass any ID, because that ID will be directly mapped through the values which are there. But in case of this, entire extraction would happen in the data type as well. Mainly, if we see here, the major difference would be here we are explicitly defining multi data type extraction as true. So what we are trying to do is we are looping this config and we are extracting the values out of it, values out of the document. So that's why we have to give multi data type extraction as true. So you can just remember that in case of dynamic, always multi data type extraction will be true. But in case of static template, there won't be any multi data type extraction, because it's a single data type where we try to extract all the values from this data type alone. So I'll come to this data type config. So I'll start with this document mask config. So in case of document mask config, we have to pass the coordinates of that mask. So when we mask the image, we get just the values. similar to the values we'll get the coordinate as well. So we have a tool where if you pass just the mask, it will return you the coordinates of that mask. So once you get the coordinates, you have to tag the each coordinates to this mask, and license number will mainly we'll be returning it as 01, 02. So this is how mask whatever document or mask if you are passing, based on that mask we will be passing you the coordinates out of it. So once this coordinate is there, you have to map it to each entity out of it. So whether it's a license number coordinate or whether it's a licensee coordinate, basically it comes from the top to bottom approach. You can mask it simply, and once you mask it, you have to define it here. So based on this, we will be extracting the value out of it. So we will be looping it to the coordinates and we will get the value out of it. So you have to pass in document mask config, you have to pass the masking coordinate JSON. So this is the value you have to pass it, and once the value has been extracted, again how do we do for such query extension? There is an extra level of check which we used to do, like in case of ID, date and all those things. Similarly, we can have a validation step as well. That this is an optional one. It can be, validation can be there. If keys are an empty list, we don't do any validation, we will return it back just like that. If there is any validation, we will try to process the validation. In case of license number 604, so in that case we use APZ ID again, and pattern format would be NNN because all are the numeric values, and length would be 3. So this is how we do an additional validation check on top of the static document as well, because always we won't get a clear image out of the document. I mean it's obviously if we have a lot of noise on top of the image, or maybe in the background, we won't get a clear values out of the document. Maybe some there can be some extra character which will be coming out of it. So in that case, for an additional validation check, we can have this APZ ID, search query, trade name and all those things. And if you see this, I am not specifying anything from the any keys out of it. I mean previously if you see, there will be something like license name will be there. So something like license name will be there and operating name will be there, like this. But in this case I am not passing anything, because we are directly extracting the value out of it. We don't need any keys to be specified. So that's how I am passing just the query. So what and all value has been extracted using this document. So a license number, no, I mean licensee name. So this will have the value out of it. If suppose the coordinate mask whatever you have created in the static one, if you are having if you are defining any configuration in the mask itself, suppose you are instead of just masking the value, if you are masking even the key as well, in that case keys will also be extracted when we pass the coordinates. So in that case, when we wanted to remove the keys out of it, so in that case you can define the key here. So if keys are not there, it's just a query which you need to define it here. So that's how this configurations and all will be there. So I have shared this document, so please go through this document as well. So I have defined each and ID data type and search query data type with small examples, how I am defining the values out of it and how I am extracting the values. And in case of date data type as well and static template as well, I have mentioned it here. And then if you go through this table part, I have given what each type would be defining. So in case of search query, we have to define pattern formats. So how do we define pattern formats? I have given example as well here, and what sort of validations will be having as part of pattern format. So data format will be the validation, and min length, max length. So these will be the validations as part of that. And then again, what is the min length, what is the max length, what is vchar, what is data format. So everything I have specified it here. So what are the values which you can associate with the data formats, and then case format is there. So basically, if your text has just the uppercase letters, then you can pass case format as upper. So in that case, it will be doing an additional validation check, and will extract only the uppercase values for you. If you have just the lowercase, you can extract lowercase. And there is something called camel case. So in case of camel case, if the first value is if the first character is capital letter and the rest of values are lowercase letters, in that case you can pass it as camel case as true. And for splitting the text based on the new line character, S line as true or false, and remove line. So you can go through this document. So if you have any doubts, you can always come back to me, or you can ping me or Skype, or you can call me as well. So these are the set of configuration which we are leveraging for the purpose of extraction of text. So this is the thing which we are trying to do it. So now the next question would be, how do we actually create this document? How do we create this mask, and how do we get the coordinates out of it, and how do we actually create the template out of it? So that part alone will be taken care by the Adrin. So I'll ask Adrin to take it up. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi, Adrin.
I'll share my
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible to me. So I'll stop the presenting.
Hi, I'm going to present the GIMP tool in order to create templates and the mask for our OCR application. So here's just a README for a guide. So we're sending you this GIMP demo of whatever you do here. Since this is a live demo, you can ask questions whenever you need. Since we're actually going through this thing step by step, here are the steps that we will follow. I've given examples for the shortcuts when you get used to it, but I'll also show how to select the tools and go forward with it. So we can start. So since this session is being recorded, as Nikhil has mentioned before, we'll also give you the video where you can go through the steps serially. So we start with these two documents here particularly. I think going back to how this application started, we would like to discuss what a template is. And template is basically one document. Think of it as one document. As in, you'll be having multiple documents coming in from the DSOA or Dubai International Financial Services. Each of them will have different license numbers, company names, trade names, but at the end they'll have a same generic format. As in, you always have commercial license on top. You'll have the logo up here and the text in a particular format. So this is what a template is. This would be a template for DIFC. This would be a template for DSOA. Now, Nikhil also mentioned about the fact that you could have two different types of templates. One would be dynamic and one would be static. So as discussed, DIFC forms a dynamic template because you see here address could flow bottom as the text lines increase. Similarly here, you have a fixed space for an address. This is fixed gap. Since the line doesn't end here, you see there's enough gap for issue date. So we would classify DSOA to be a static template while DIFC to be a dynamic template. We do this so that when document, okay, so I'll just go to the GIMP tool. Another thing you'll notice that is, okay, so we'll open DSOA and create a we'll open DIFC first and we'll create a dynamic template because that's a little simpler because we don't have to take out the coordinates. So you can right click, open with other applications and select the GIMP manipulation tool. You'll notice that this is a PDF document, but this GIMP can still open it. It's fine. So GIMP has a utility to import from PDF. You can select the page you would like to import and import the document. So this is your usual GIMP workspace. We'll have a few tools which we'll use regularly, which are all mentioned within the README document here. So as Nikhil mentioned earlier, template matching basically helps us in making the text straight and making a text aligned. So it's easier for TestRack to extract the document text. So the first thing that we do is rotate a document in the template. So to use something called a rotate tool. So you go to tools, and you can go to transformation tools and click rotate. You would see that the shortcut for this is Control Shift R. So all the tools are actually present here, so it's easier for you to. You click on rotate. After rotate, we see something called corrective rotation. Corrective rotation, nothing much, but just showing you the lines and allow you to rotate this up to axis. We try to rotate this as much as possible such that the lines come straight. We go closer. As you see here, you can see that the exact portion is being aligned. You can look at the other part of the document to see if this is true. So rotation of minus 1.2. This is all done visually, so you won't have a problem with the text being misaligned. You can check it throughout the run document and you can just rotate it again. One thing you would notice that these regions at the bottom, since the rotation is being done, there's a few white pixels left around. What you need to do is you need to use a fill tool. You go to tools and go to paint tools and call something called bucket fill. So you need to fill up these buckets. By default, the white color is selected, but otherwise you can select a particular color. You select the fill tool and you can fill these regions. Select here, select here, select here, and here. So once it's done, you have a straightened up document. One thing you would notice is the top part isn't straight, but the main text region is straight. At the end of the day, you need the lines, text document lines need to be straight. So I'll just check this one more time. And maybe it's slightly rotated. So we can just align it slightly. Yeah. Okay. Go to bucket fill. Love these regions, and yeah. So this is a straightened document. Since we see that these lines are straight, we don't mind much that the commercial license is slightly crooked because we don't need to extract this region. Now we come to the next part, which is we clean up the embellishments. So what we need to keep within this document is the content, which is always constant. So we use something called the brush tool. The brush tool is available here, the paint brush tool, which is pink. You'll also find it within here, paint tools and the brush. It's dodging down. But I think you can just find it directly here, so this is easy. Paintbrush. You select the color that you need to use, and you can change the size. So you have the brush size here, you can just reduce it. What you need to do is remove the portions which are not common. So you remove the portions here. You see that number here is signed by a person. The stamp will not be constant in all the documents, so you remove this too. And you can go closer. So you can go closer with the control key. You can use that to go closer and further away. Apart from these the bottom, so the thing is you need to keep the parts which are always constant. For example, the bottom part, since it's right at the bottom, these parts will be constant in every single template, and henceforth it will help us understand which. So when we try to align this document when it's upside down, the bottom part will help us understand that the document's aligned in a particular direction. Since we've removed that, we'll just remove some of these here again. So now the second part of the task is done, removing the embellishments. Now, the next part is to save this document. So you can export. We need to export this to a JPEG format so that this can be stored in our templates folder within the OCR application. To do that, we'll go to Files and Export As. Yes, DIFC Dubai PDF. So since we want to save it as JPEG, we just rename this as JPG. And export. You can call it template if you like. I'll just call it DIFC for. You can put it to 100. That's not much. So if you open the folder back again, you find that DIFC Dubai, this is your template. So this will be added within your templates folder available in your data files. So you'd find all my templates given here. I can add this this region, but since it's already added, since I already have a copy, I would like to cancel this. Then we go to the next part, which is creating a template, which is creating the mask for the given template. Since this is a dynamic template, we define a larger mask. So go here and create a mask region. So firstly, what we'll do is we go down here and create a new layer. Just select a default property. This is our layer. So over this, we'll be drawing our black regions and white regions. We again select the bucket tool, tools, paint, bucket fill. We choose a black color now. You can click this to change the color. And you choose black. Now this is basically our mask at the moment. Nothing is selected. You go back to putting the opacity slightly lower so we can see the text at the bottom. Now we create a new layer for the dynamic part. Black is everything which is not required, white will be everything which is required. We select the rectangle selection tool that's right available here. And we go to the exact region where the text will be available. So we go here and select the exact region. Now we need to notice that this white region needs to be inclusive of all the text available. So it should have enough space for the license number up to the bottom to how much the text can extend. So we'll put it right here because this is the footer of the document. We select this. Now within this selection, we need to paint it white. For that, we go back to the bucket tool. The bucket tool is also available here. And we select white. This region is now selected by the mask. Let us show you one more time. So you can see that this is well encased of all the text. We increase the opacity to this and the background layer. We go back to the same task of exporting. So you go to export as and we just call it mask. So we've created a DIFC template and its corresponding mask. As Nicola showed you, once you pre-process this, only this region will be activated and sent to the next part for tesseract extraction, and then further on for built-in data type extraction. So that's that much for a dynamic template. For a static template, we have one more step, and that step is basically creating the mask coordinates. So we go through that. We take the file here. Oh, one more thing. So when you're doing this, there's a lot of times where you'll have to change your mask. For example, this amount of space will not be enough for the document. You may have to make edits. So saving this document, this workspace will be helpful for you. So to do that, just click Ctrl S, or you could go here, File, Save, and save it as XCF. That's the output format for GIMP. So you could save it anywhere. Once this is done, you can close this, and we can open, and we can start doing processing for the static template. Now you would notice that this is a JPEG file, and so it's easy for GIMP to directly open it. Once you go here, you go to the same process of rotating the document. You check again whether the document is straight or not. Here, since the lines are pretty spaced out, we can increase the number of lines in the grid. Go closely, you can see whether it's exactly straight or not. So we'll just split it slightly. Yeah, that's good enough. 0.07. Document seems to be straight in the beginning, so we go down here and we check the document for embellishments. Again, we take the paint tool, increase the brush size, which you can increase on here, or you can use cancel with plus and minus. You can draw over here. Increase it. And you just draw over the pen marks because it won't be constant in any of the other files. You'd like to keep these regions because they're constant in all the files and they'll help us with template matching. Now we go to the second part, which is saving this thing as a template. Since this is straight and the embellishments have been removed. So you go back here and we write export as DSOA and I rename it as template. I'll have to rename it back again because, okay, I'll do it directly here. I'll call it DSOA divide. And because it's a static template, we need to generate the mask. We go to mask here, we go to templates, and I save it within this templates folder because I need to generate it. So I'll save it here. Export, save. So we've created the DSOA template. Now we need to create a mask. So like in the dynamic template, we create a new layer right here. Okay. And fill it with black. Once this is done, we reduce the opacity so that we can see what's behind it. We create a directory, a group layer. This is important because it helps you. I'll show you why this is important. We create a new layer, and all these layers, all the text regions that we select will be within this part. So we can easily remove it or keep adding to it, which helps us organize our layers much better. Again, now we go to rectangle select tool as we did with the thing, and what we need to do now is select particular regions with the values available. So in this case, we select license number. Since license number has a huge available space, we try to give it some more space as compared to the other fields which we will give in some time. We go back to the bucket tool and fill it out. Okay, I made a mistake with that. We need to give a white color. So that's the exact region spelled out for the license number, as you would see here. It needs to be well encased. So the next document we could have a little longer string, hence what you should give a little more space. We'll go to the next fields, and since I guess you get the gist of how this is done, I'll use shortcuts and I'll get this done fast quickly. So I'll take this particular region. I'll make sure that this spacing between the two fields are enough, that there's no overlap. So bucket tool, fill it up, create a new layer, select this field with trade name. Again, making sure that this region is well defined and not overlapping. Seeing that this, okay, one more thing is the name could be much longer, so I should take care to have this field properly encompassed. I'll remove this layer. You can press the delete key or you can drag it down here. I'll make sure that this region is properly encased, along with giving good sizing to left and right. Get it right. Get another layer, or try to manage it. I'll just do this quickly so that as this is reflecting this process. Now for address, you'd see that this is multiple lines. So you'd like to define all the regions where this could be available. Since there's enough gap to license number, instead of giving it to this much, we extend it so that if there's more lines, it properly takes all the text. Same with issue date. And same with valid date. You don't have to collect the label. You just directly select all the other available text. Yeah, so this is done with finding all the regions where the text is available. Again, we go down to the black layer and we increase the opacity. Here what happens is all the regions which is white is used by Tesseract after the masking technique, and whatever is black is removed. So likewise here we save it again, save as DSOA, and we save it to the mask folder here. This is a tool which is used to save our coordinates. We save it here. Export, and we save this document as DSOA for later reference if we need to change anything. So we've gone to creating the mask for the dynamic mask from a document and a dynamic template and a dynamic mask. We've also gone to create the static mask, the static template here, and a static mask. Now for static templates, we also need to create the JSONs, exactly where the labels are existing. So we have this other tool which you mentioned here, and we've also provided a README document available. So what we need to do here is we need to start a terminal, since we've already kept our templates here and mask here with the same exact name. So this needs to be done properly, where the names should be the same. So we know, so you can generate multiple templates and multiple masks at the same time. So this is one way of identification. You go down here and you start / mask. Marks the coordinates. Just process file DSOA divide because you mentioned it here. Another file is generated with these values here. So this is the key values. So document, as I mentioned here, you'd find a document will always be existing along with the other fields. So I'll just open the other mask here for reference, along with a template value. I'll just open all three side by side. Document is always available. Document basically defines the size of the document. You'll see it's 001502 2148. 1502 being the width and 2108 being the height. You'll be seeing these values here. Each of these values correspond to the value fields available in this region. So as we've also mentioned that this is following linearly, you would easily say that this is license number. The next one would be licensee, and further on. Just to explain things when, if there's ever a conflict, each of these fields, I'll just take out one of them, correspond to 3 to 4 values. Left, top, right, bottom. As in this field is available this many pixels on the left, 548 pixels from the left, 300 pixels from the top, and the width of this region, which you see here, is to the right 1068 pixels and down 390 pixels. That's what it is. So this is informative. If you have any questions regarding to this, you can ask us. So we've created, just going over what we've done today. We've taken the images given here for this and for the DSOA. We've created dynamic mask and we've created a static mask. After creating a static and dynamic mask, we've generated the coordinate mask based using this tool. You place these within your data files, and the mask being put in the database as configuration. So I hope this part has been helpful. And if you have any questions, you can ask. We'll give you the supporting package if we can help.
Yeah, Adrian, maybe I'll show them where they have to keep the marking and how to give the settings as well. Maybe I'll present
Sure.
it now.
Sure, you can do it.
So Adrian has explained how to create mask and how to create template. So now we'll be showing you so what are all the requirements for running this Python service, and what are all the how do we actually where do we keep the mask and where do we define the directory, and mask template name and mask name we are defining in the image configuration. As I explained earlier, in the configuration itself name will be there, but in case of directory, from which directory we have to pick it and from where we have to process it. So this is my OCR application. I have created directory simply here. You can keep it anywhere. Basically there is a config file, so that has settings.ini file will be there. So here you can define your database username, and currently we have got a requirement from while we are doing for NBF. So our password file should be encrypted file. So encrypted file can be created there is a method to create that. I'll be sharing you. It's a small piece of code which we need to run and we have to create it. So once we get an encrypted password, it will be part of. I'll show you that file. How does it look and all. So this is how encrypted password file will be there. So where you can't even read what's the password of that database and all those things. So that encrypted file you have to give it file path mainly. Then what is the database host and what is the port which you have to run it. By default Django, if it's a MySQL, for Django you have to specify the engine name. In case of MS SQL or some other Oracle, you will be having different engines which you need to specify. That you can check in the internet and you can do it. And in case of data name, what data name you have to give it. And debug will be true or false. So in production we'll be defining it as false. And allowed host will be when you are trying to hit from the external IP. It won't be allowed unless until you specify. Suppose you have to specify some IP to hit it, something like this. So you have to specify it with comma separated for the list of IPs, or else every time you need to call using localhost or this IP. So these are the allowed hosts will be there. And max memory size would be like so this is the size where maximum buffer of base64 image can be uploaded. So almost 15 MB of size of base64 can be uploaded from the to the service layer. So we'll be taking max to this size. Anything above this size we won't accept it. Service itself will reject it and send an exception back. So this and all are constant time zones and all. It's a normal one. Mainly local properties and all. Currently we are not using, but we have to specify. And one more thing, these properties. So when we send a base64 image or when we send a text, so there are two possibilities. Either we'll be sending base64 to the server side or the data text which comes from the device layer to the server side. So in case of this I am talking in case of image upload option. So in that case we have stored base64. So when we give it as Y, we will be creating a text file using the base64 and we'll store all the base64 text in the device, I mean in the system level. So that path would be this one, data path to store. So this is the path you need to specify, and the same path will be used to store the image. So whatever base64 which will be hitting to the service layer, that will try to convert it to image and we will store it and store pre-processed images. So as I told you, we'll get a pre-processed image out of after pre-processing steps has been done. So that if you want to store it, you can store it using this key, and you can set it as Y in case of if you want to store or something. So ideally we won't be storing in production systems and all. So in that case you can disable it as N. So this is one configuration path which you need to do. And this currently data capture path, if suppose someone wants to capture the data, so it can be which data he has to capture, and also for that we'll be using this data capture path. So we have an API to capture just the base64s and convert it as image. As part of collection of data, we have exposed that API as well. Instead of predicting, we can just collect the data as well. And there is something called logger name. So a logger name will be defined in the logger properties file. I'll explain you the logger name when I explain that logger properties file. And this is the directory path where I have to, where my templates are there, and this is the directory path where models are there. So currently by default we will be giving you one model, yeast model, which when we try to use this yeast pre-processing technique, basically that's a text detection model which we are trying to use inside Python code, and we'll try to extract the text and we'll make it much more clear and visible. So for that model will be there. So anyway, we'll give you that file and you can place in some directory, and you can need to specify the path of that model. I mean that model path you need to specify it here. And masking directory path again you can specify it here. And so in case of Python services, we are using Miniconda as a virtual environment. So each Miniconda will have, so whatever image processing happens or everything, so that won't be happen inside the service layer. So everything will be packing up and will be giving a Conda environment. What and all libraries are there will be giving a Conda pack to you. I mean, it's a packed environment which will be transferred to you. It will be around some 800 MB or 900 MB or maybe more than 1 GB as well. So that environment will be sharing with you. So you have to install Miniconda and you have to export that environment in your system. And you have to give the image preprocessing Conda path. I mean, basically we have a file. There will be a file called episode image processing directory. So you need to specify the directory for that Conda path, and data extracted directory you need to specify, and data type directory you need to specify. So that will be a constant directory. In my case, it's in the Anaconda environments and all those things. So maybe in your system it will be Miniconda and all those things. And one more thing, we have a logger text file, a logger config text file, where we can specify the logger path and all. So we have to define the logger config file path as well, including the file name. So wherever file is there, you have to define the file name as well, similar to here. So wherever path is there, you have to just define the path. So that's how we have defined it here, and I'll show you that logger text file as well. So this is the logger text file. So here you can have a file name, path to where it can store the logs and all those things, and we have something to rotate the logs whenever. So basically this rotation will happen for 1000 files until every midnight. So it's like 3 years we can rotate on daily basis. We can rotate the files. So this can be used by based on size you can rotate the files, or based on time also you can rotate the files. That you can actually check it. How do we rotate in this Django and all? So this is the settings file which we need to use, and debug level will be there. So currently, if we are doing just the testing or environment, debug level can be, level will be debug or logger level, or else you can have it as an info. And this is what the logger defines. So based on this key, we'll try to extract the, we'll try to create a log files and all those things. So that's like a simple key kind of thing. So that's nothing but the logger name here. So whatever we have defined it here, that will be mapped to loggers part of OCR demo. So which will be internally use these file handlers, and it will create a file, logger file and all. So this is overall how do we, what and all settings you have to do in case of service and all those things. Now I'll be showing you a PDF which I have already showed, which I have already shared with you. So how do we actually run the service, and if you have service and you have environment setup and all those things, but actually how do we run the service? OCR installation guide. So in case of, so mainly if you have some Oracle or something, you can use Oracle database and all those things. So mainly we can focus on the installing Miniconda. You can download Miniconda from these URLs. We have included the URLs as well, and how to check the Conda version and all. So you can specify the Conda version, and how to create environment. How to create environment using Conda pack. So there are some couple of couple of statements which you can go through it, and how to activate the environment as well, and how to deactivate the environment. You can go through it, and after creating and everything and defining the logger path I have explained you, and adding the host name, allowed host and all, how do we add it and all those things, and database settings. And then Conda name as visiting card city Q2, and we can activate using the Conda activate command and the Conda environment name. So once we activate the environment, we can run this program. We can run this to run the program. You can run this line, so that you need to define the port on which port you try to run it. suppose this is the example, Python 3.0 manage.py run server. So this service will be running on 2250 port. The same way you can run the service, Python service, and it will be up and running. And same way you can test from the REST client as well. So I'll share you the request format and response format as well. So this has the request format and response format as well, if you see it. So I'll explain the this. So this transaction ID would be the unique ID for each and every request. So based on this is a unique key which will be defining in the database, and based on this we'll try to, if something gets some data extraction doesn't happen, based on the transaction ID we'll try to figure it out. Even in logs as well, we'll try to we'll get based on the transaction ID we'll debug the logs and we'll get the logs. So that's how. And document type, document ID I have already explained you in the database settings. So to which configuration you are trying to point out. In case of trade license, if you have multiple documents, document type would be trade license and document ID would be different countries or different region trade license. So in case of data format, data text will be passed when we send a data text to the service layer. So whenever we are sending image base64 instead of data text, you can have img underscore base64 as a data format, and you can pass instead of passing data text you can pass data base64. And device type would be Android, iOS or web. So based on this we'll query the configuration. So in case of Android we don't have image configurations and all, so just pass the correct ones. So after that, extracted entities, how do we extract the entities and all? So just go through this document, it's a simple document and all. So that's how we run the Python service and all those things. So if someone has any doubts or something, I can clarify it. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Akash.
Yes. In in device type Android, so we need to pass base64 to the API once from camera scanning.
Yeah. See that in case of Android, if you can extract the text out of the image, in that case you can just pass the extracted text to the service layer. If suppose in case of trade license, if you see it's a bigger document where you can't extract the text out of it. If it's a simple document and it's just 2 lines or 3 lines where you can extract like ID card and all those things, you can try it out actually. You can experiment and you can check it how text gets extracted. If continuously text is getting extracted properly and it looks fine, in that case you can upload directly text to the server side and you can process it for the key value pair based extraction. Or else you can pass always image to the server side and you can do pre-processing template. You have to create template and you have to create masking and all those things.
That extraction we need to write technique from our side, right? Or already there?
No, in case of that you have to just create a configuration for built-in data types. So if you see for this so Emirates ID I have defined for Android. So in this case I was just having built-in data types for built-in data types configuration. I don't have any image processing configuration and data extractor configuration. So I'm just having the data type configuration and I'm trying to extract the values. So is that clear, or should I explain once again?
Yes. Suppose I'm capturing the image from camera.
Okay.
So I will get the image, right? Base64 I will get, correct?
Yeah, see, including if you use document detect plugin, in return you will get base64 as well, and always you will be getting a text as well.
Okay.
So that's the plugin which you need to use.
Yeah, I need to use document.
Yeah, document detector plugin.
Akash, on top of Nikhil's what he told, no. So there are two types in Android which you can do. The one is you can send the image as a base64 to the server side, or with the plugin what is telling you will get the text of all the text which is present in the image. You can just send only those to the server side. With the configurations, no need to write any code for extraction, all those things. If you make the configuration, the code will only, the built-in data types is there, no, that will extract the text from your configurations and it will give you the response back.
Yeah, that I got.
Alright. Is there any questions apart from Akash?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi, Nikhil.
Yeah, Hari.
Nikhil, suppose if I upload upside down image, something in Trailers, if I upload upside down image, how it will map it to the mask?
Yeah, correct. So in case of upside down image, so basically we are trying to create a template, right? So always
correct.
we'll try to match the template and we'll rotate the image as part of template. So in template matching itself, it will be rotated and it will be mapped as a perfect template. How we see as a template, it will be generating an output image as a template. But upside down, you can try it. We have tried as well. Sideways and tilted documents and all we have tried. Even upside down would also be working. After template match, it comes to the normal document. So after normal document, this masking and all will happen. So template match internally will take care of these things.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question is there? Sorry.
Is Oracle is mandatory or can you use MySQL as well?
Yeah, MySQL you can use, MS SQL is your. It depends on your what you use in your backend systems. It's not a mandatory task. So that document we have created for Oracle and all. It's an extra document which we have created for some bank visiting card and all. We have shared this document. So they are using backend system as Oracle. Maybe you can use just MySQL. I am using just the MySQL to extract the text. Is there anything else or that's all? Or
Yes, you can. Yes.
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thanks, Nikhil. Thanks for the session.
Yeah, I'll upload this video and I'll share the link as well.
Sure.
Thanks,
That will
Nikhil.
help so that you can
Yeah.
contact him.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eric.